Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Dugout Football Channel. It is time for the Prem Predictions Show Week 26, and there are two big games that dominate this week. Liverpool, Manchester United obviously being one of them. Chelsea against Leeds United, another one. And I'm delighted to say I actually have a big Chelsea fan all the way from India. It is Mr. Ankit from Almighty Blues and Almighty Sports Plus. How are you, Ankit?
Great to be back. I know it's been a while, and this has been coming. Obviously, didn't want this to be the juncture being with the clubs that, in fact, both the clubs are kind of not doing great. But we all know that just love football, and I know Chelsea is definitely close to my heart. But it's more like I started following Premier League first, then Chelsea. So definitely Premier League football, could not beat with the weekend. And in fact, the weekends that we're going to have a good few weeks that we're expecting now that it's getting to business end.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, no, big thank you for first of all for obviously coming on, because I know you're a busy man with your channel growing every single day.
It's a hard work with two channels. I kind of took that because earlier I used to have one channel with cricket and football. Then I realized no, there's a different audience. So I'm like, okay, there's a different channel for cricket and a different channel for football, and that's why Almighty Blues FC, definitely, especially Doug and of course everyone in the chat. By hopefully everyone has been supporting Doug and he deserves it. And Doug has been a great support for me, so I must say here for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I am seeing a lot of people saying about Potter. There is actually a poll going in the chat. I have actually asked the question, will this be Graham Potter's last week in charge of Chelsea? Basically, what the three options are: yes, no, or he will get the Dortmund game. That is what the three options are. So please do let us know in the chat as well. And we'll go into the chat right now. Ron Carlisle Cummins, all the way from Barbados. You lucky thing. Hailing once again from Liverpool Fan Club Barbados. Thanks for sharing your informative content. You're welcome on. Thank you very much as well. Sportcast and hello, Douglas and guest. As a fellow massive Chelsea fan, it's very tough right now. Yes. Thiago Silva out for up to 6 weeks. When it rains, it pours, Ankit.
Yeah. You know what? I haven't covered that content yet because I'm hoping against hope that there was no official news, but I'm actually seeing a post as in just some time back, and I think he's probably getting some knee ligaments problems and things like that. So those doesn't sound good, and it will be out for at least a month, if not more. So yeah, it's like it couldn't get worse, right? But it's just gotten worse, and that's what Chelsea's definition is right now. So
Yeah.
nothing new, and I hope he gets well soon. Obviously,
Yeah, 100%. I think he's been excellent. I think he really has, and I think
actually, we were just talking off stage, right, Doug? Arguably, I think he should have gotten, with all due respect, Dan or Virgil van Dijk in that even, the fifth pro 11. But again, that's how good at 38, and we're even talking about it, and that's what tells, and that's why he's a miss. Plus the leader that he is.
Yeah, 100%. Good evening, says Shane. Hello, Notts Forest and Everton is one that could go either way. Could be a goalless draw. Yeah, we will get to that. Actually, that's one of the Sunday games. Harry Potter's clueless. He needs to go back to Hogwarts. He's destroying my club. How Potter has not been signed yet, I will never know. Do you do cricket, Ankit, as well? You said, Ask Sportcat.
Yeah, that's my second channel that I do on, right? Almighty Sports Plus. But Almighty Blues FC, we do only football. But yeah, definitely welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ryan is in. Good evening, Ryan. Yes, I'm actually against you at this moment in time. There are 2 games left. So what we'll do, we won't count the scores this week. So when we come back to obviously doing week 27, we'll obviously count last week, and we'll obviously count this week as well. But yeah, guys, if you are new to the channel, obviously check out Ankit's channels because there is Almighty Blues FC and Almighty Sports. So go and check those out. And obviously do subscribe here as well. Hit the like button, hit the share, hit the subscribe as well. But the reason we are here, because there's a Prem Prediction Show week 26. And yes, there's some very interesting games. Obviously, as I have said at the top of the show, Liverpool against Manchester United. Chelsea, Leeds United. Actually, there's big games both at the bottom and the top of the table. It's very interesting games, to say the very least. And we will start with one of them. On Saturday lunchtime, it is Manchester City against Newcastle United. Newcastle obviously lost the cup final. Are you a bit concerned about their form recently, Ankit? It's 6 draws out of the last 7.
It is. It is. I think quite concerning, and it's normal. I don't think Newcastle have to like panic at the same time because yes, you can argue that come on, as in they were favorites for the top four. Say by say Jan 1st or mid Jan even or even end of Jan. But last 1 month has been really tough for them, and in a way it's kind of coincides with the transfer window that they had. You can say almost lack of it. Yes, I know they got as in the lad from Everton, Gordon, that we wanted at what 60 million. But anyway, as in he's good. But again, is he the kind of player that would take you to the next level, especially when your Almirons of the world are not doing well? He's not that kind of a player, right? He's more of a hard
Yeah.
worker. Again, Isaac, he's injury prone. He's kind of come in. Callum Wilson has been injury prone. So a lot of ifs and buts. But at the end of the day, what you get from Newcastle, despite that kind of lack of form in terms of in front of goal, they still have that solidity. Like I would like to say in the whole of Europe, I think they are probably third best, probably I would say. Like I know Barcelona
Hmm.
have been really good generally speaking at the back, but even the whole of Europe, I think you can argue that they're right up there along with like the Arsenals of the world. They are doing really well in terms of defense, and again Bruno Guimaraes, we all saw that how he reacted after the cup final loss. And you know that they're finally rebuilding that DNA that we associate with Newcastle. Say in the late 90s and early 2000s, they're kind of rebuilding that. And anyhow, you have to give credit, no matter what the form is. You are still building that, spine of the team with a Trippier, with a Botman, with a
Yeah.
Share. They have that with a Dan Burn, with a Bruno Guimaraes, so Joe Linton. So these 5-6 guys are like always there. And now the problem is in front of goal. So I think Newcastle will be good, but again, this weekend, Man City comes too soon, and Man City have been in defiant mode, right? As in, again,
Mm.
very on and off. I'm not going to say that they are going to be. Why I'm saying defiant mode is because I think 1 week they're doing like great, 1 week they're doing like okay, very average. So when they come back, they kind of are in defiant mode. And the fact that in the Champions League we saw that what happened in Man City, I can actually
Yeah.
see Man City kind of getting better of Newcastle quite easily this one, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Man City. I mean, they did beat obviously. They did beat Bournemouth by 4 goals to 1. Erling Haaland breaking records after records. I think he's now got the highest score of last season from the top scorers. So it's
Yeah,
pretty pretty
and I
impressive.
know Doug. I know JB Carragher of the likes, and a lot of people have said that have raised a question that is because of Erling Haaland that Man City are not able to play the fluid football, the flexibility up top that they used to last season and a half. But come on, as in, can you really complain? As in, if I had my striker, and especially being a Chelsea fan, you can
Yeah,
imagine that a striker even scoring a goal, even about 30 goals in a season, and not even the season over. I'm sure like he's not the problem. And we all said that. I know about Ronaldo last season in Manchester United, but I think Erling Haaland, we all have seen in Dortmund. I think he's got enough movement in him. I don't think he's so still as what people make him out to be.
yeah,
It's just that the way Man City are so, what do you say, as in they're just so easy on the eye, usually speaking, that people feel that he may be the problem. But actually that is exactly what they needed. Like a game like Newcastle is somewhere that Haaland will be crucial for me because of the fact that he has that tenacity that maybe a floating forward would not have had, in such a game against Newcastle, which Newcastle are good at. So I think, yeah, again, Haaland, I know that there was a scare of injury just a couple of weeks ago, but now I think he should be good. And again, like I said, Man City are a team right now that if they're not coming off a great result or a couple of results, you better be careful. So I think
yeah.
that's the reason I can see them scoring at least like or winning by at least a couple of goals. So it might be like a 2-0, especially with Newcastle not scoring enough goals. But you know what? Let's go with a goal for Newcastle because now that the cup final is over, they might just open up a little bit. So let's put a 2-1 victory to Man City.
2-1 Man City. Yeah, I've been to and throwing between this one because last year, in fact, this game finished 3-3. And actually Newcastle were 3-1 up at one point, and obviously Man City did come back and get that 3-3 draw. Um, it's going to be a very tricky game, but I just think Newcastle are sort of lacking goals a little bit at the moment for me.
That's the main issue,
Um,
right? Otherwise, yeah, it would have been a
yeah,
tighter game.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 Man City. I don't think Newcastle score, but could be completely wrong, of course. But
But it could go the other way around as well, right? Because after a
mhm,
big cup final, and let's be honest, as much as Manchester United deserved that win, I think Newcastle probably had the better moments. It's just that they didn't probably take advantage of that momentum that they had, and then Manchester United was just more clinical, right? So
yeah,
maybe somewhere down the line it could work both ways, right? Either you're like, oh no, you're so disappointed because at the end of the day they are still a youngish side, but at the same time, it might give them confidence. Knowing how Eddie Howe is, I think it'll probably give them confidence, and they'll come back stronger. I feel again that weight on the shoulder is not there anymore. That okay, we are playing a final after 24 years, and it was clear the moment they qualified for the final,
yeah.
the performances dipped. So it was not a coincidence for me. So
Mm.
now you can actually strangely assume that they'll play a little bit more, expansive football that Eddie Howe actually likes to play. To be honest, not that Newcastle don't have players, they do. Like they have the steel as well as the players. So I think it's just about them, keeping that structure that they actually have done well on.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Let's see what some of you are saying as well. Just sub to both of your channels. Ankit's the Sport Cat. Low VV is in. Hello, low VV. I'm good. I hope you're good as well. Oh, actually, just missed a thumbs up from you, Ankit. Newcastle don't score enough goals, get too many draws. At least they can just focus on qualifying for the Champions League. Absolutely, Ryan. Going the same wavelength as me, 2-0 Manchester City. So's Lil Vivi, City 2, Newcastle 0. Hope I'm wrong. Shane O'Donnell's gone to no Manchester City as well. Devish Savrastava, I think that is how. If I have pronounced that horribly, then I do apologise. Trippier was
Devesh
not playing his
Srivastava.
usual. Sharastava. Trippier was not playing his usual role League Cup final. No, he wasn't. He wasn't. But again, Trippier has been fantastic this season. He really, really has. And I think he'll be back to his normal sort of right back role against Manchester City. Oh, Sportcat one's going for a 1-1 draw. And then Sebastian's gone 2-1 Newcastle. I can see that. I can see potentially that happening. That would actually be a big boost for Newcastle because they have actually slipped out of the top four. In fact, Tottenham have overtaken them slightly.
Yeah.
Even Douglas Ankit in chat. Hope everyone's well. I'll go Man City 2, Newcastle 1. I could see Newcastle getting a point though. Big up EK. Hope you're good and obviously unlucky for the cup final as well. City 3-0 says Divish. Big up Douglas and Ankit. Armin, hello. Hope you're good. Man City will tank us. I don't think they'll tank you, but I think you'll probably, what's going to happen, I think you'll probably tire towards sort of the middle of the game. And then I think like maybe an early goal, probably maybe sort of by like halftime. I think then City could probably get a couple. But look, it's going to be very, very intriguing. No, Nick Pope is not back for this game. Is he back? I'm not actually sure.
Yeah, so I think as per the rules, if I know right, like if I remember right, like definitely, I don't think that despite a red, I don't think that counts for 3 game suspension because of the fact that it wasn't like a violent conduct. So I think again, I'm not sure if they have appeal, etc. But I think there was an argument that if they had appealed, then maybe they would have gotten the time. But again, I'm not sure if the jury is out, but I'm pretty sure Nick Pope should be back, as in from what I hear. It should only be one game suspension, considering that it wasn't a violent conduct.
yeah,
I'll have to check it
yeah.
up, but yeah, I think pretty sure. But either ways, I must ask you, Doug, what as in Karius did well, I thought.
Yeah, I thought he played really well.
Yeah, especially
I
second
see
half,
there's a
right?
lot of
Like,
people there's a lot of people blaming him for the second goal, but the problem is it went off Botman, and it sort of looped over him. And
correct.
I don't think you can blame Karius for that.
You cannot.
The first goal he can't do anything about. It's a wonderful header from Casemiro, and actually, to be honest, he kept him in the game because he saved from Weghorst. That was rising. That was going into the top corner, and he managed to tip that away. And then there was one where, yes, Bruno Fernandes should have squared it to Sancho, but he stayed big and made the goal as small as possible. So no, I actually thought he had a pretty good game. So and there is potential talks as well that Newcastle might want to sign him on a permanent. And to be honest, I wouldn't blame them because he's a good number two to come in when obviously Nick
Yeah.
Pope's not available. He is a good number 2 keeper. So for me,
He
I think
might
it's
have
a no-brainer.
overtaken Dubravka all of a sudden. You never know.
It's strange how he's managed to get a winner's medal, but I mean,
Yeah.
first trophy in English football, and it's not for it's not for Newcastle, it's for Manchester United. Very strange, but I think
Yeah.
Dubravka will be on his way, and I think Darlow will be on his way as well.
Yeah. By the way, I just checked it up, and I think the right in the chat. Yes. So Nick Pope is available. So
Nick Pope's
that's great
available.
news. Yeah.
That is very good news. That is very good news. It can't be a draw, to be honest. I mean, he's back as red wasn't violent conduct. ETH got into Eddie Howe's head though, all by saying they're playing boring football.
Devesh is a Manchester United fan, so congratulations to him again.
Yeah, congratulations as well. And Amina says, even I just subscribed to this channel. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very, very much indeed. I do appreciate that. Yes, thanks, Travis. Our defence needs huge improvement. Also another striker in the summer. Carey saved that Veghorst 1-2. That was really good. It was.
Yeah.
Hello,
Great
Errol
left foot
Brown.
strike.
Hello, Errol Brown. Hope you're good. You have the best defence in the League EK. If Arsenal win tomorrow, then Sale will be all out for the win. But if Arsenal drop points, then City will as well. Hello, Musi. But with all due respect to United fans, are we not reading into the fact that they had an easy way to the final? You could say that. You could say that. But I have seen a lot of people actually this week, and I actually tweeted earlier that there was a Liverpool supporter saying that Manchester United shouldn't be look at those celebrations as absolutely embarrassing. Well, we paraded the League Cup. We paraded the FA Cup. So I think it's a little bit hypocritical to say that when look, Manchester United played well and they deserve their trophy. And it's their first trophy in 6 years. Let them enjoy it. Let them enjoy it.
And to be honest, like I sometimes, as in social media kind of takes its toll, right? Because for me, it's not about the Carabao Cup, the League Cup, the EFL Cup again. It's about just winning a trophy after what 5.5, 6 years.
Yeah.
And if you are Manchester United, me as a Chelsea fan, I'm sure Doug as a Liverpool fan, like you have your pedigree in Europe. For example, you associate that Liverpool is Europe. Domestic competitions, it's in the last couple of decades it's more of like Chelsea, Manchester United. So but we are not there, right? So Manchester United have also felt that, right? So somewhere down the line, I think you have to give that. And again, remember, Sir Alex, after he left, like they've hardly got success. Yes, you can argue under Mourinho and a little bit of under Van Gaal, but come on, the mentality of football plus the fact that they are buying into it and the young team that they're having, I think, are building as in it's scary, right? As in it is scary.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. If only we were better on pens, we could win those trophies last year. Yes, absolutely, Sportcat. It's okay, but just good to have backup if we manage to get European football next season. More than trophy, that push and confidence helps further. Yeah, absolutely, Divish. Absolutely, indeed. This next game, I am going to say this now. This is probably a home banker. It's Arsenal against Bournemouth. Arsenal, let's be honest, their game against Leicester, they could have had a pipe, a dressing gown, and slippers with the amount of non-possession that Leicester City had. I think I read somewhere it was 0.02 XG. So that's the lowest XG ever in the Premier League.
Wow.
Bournemouth 4-1 against Man City, which I think many people really expected them to get beat by. But Arsenal, I mean, they do play Everton tomorrow as well. That's not going to be an easy game. And then obviously Bournemouth at the weekend. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, this is an interesting one because like I know it's easy on paper to say that it's probably going to be Arsenal again, but like you said, like because Arsenal have a midweek game and that too, like I don't think Everton you can take a Sean Dyche side easily. So it depends on how you come out of it, no matter what the Everton team are doing right now. So again, remember they don't have like it'll be interesting to know as in what midfield they play. Again, Jorginho has been a great start for them, but him playing back-to-back games say in a premiership kind of busy fixture period where you have in fact both the teams fighting for against relegation, right? So for me that is the only question mark, if I may, about Jorginho. That such games is you where you probably don't ideally want him to play back-to-back games, especially because I think somewhere down the line you expect him to get found out. But I can certainly see, overall Arsenal they're not doing the job. Like Bournemouth, they're getting relegated. Let's be real. I really don't see. As in again, you can argue that they should have just stuck with Scott Parker no matter what. I know the guy is not doing great in Club Brugge, but the reality is that Bournemouth don't have much unless Dominic Solanke kind of proves us wrong. And I know they're Chelsea man, but I really see that overall Arsenal have enough in them. And it's interesting to know that the last match I think they played Trossard as well as basically Martinelli. And that's the
Yeah.
interesting aspect, that if they go that way for this as well, this one I expect Nketiah to begin. But again, maybe Everton, you have both of them, and then maybe Bournemouth, you want a proper striker and then maybe a winger, because you can get beaten on the pace. So the formation will be really interesting, the personal picks. But yeah, I think I'm going with Arsenal to win easy. Again, by a couple of goals. I'll go 3-1 to Arsenal.
3-1 Arsenal. Yeah, this is that kind of game that if Arsenal really want to think about winning the title, goal difference may come down to it. I think this is the kind of game where they can get a couple of goals. I'm going to go. I go for the same result as they did last week, Bournemouth, or do I not? I think Arsenal win this cup. I'm going 3-0 Arsenal. I think this
I
could be
think the
a.
Bournemouth kind of are losing like back-to-back games now. I think they're like done, man. As in, come on. Again, I know technically they're not, but I think they need it as well. But I'll be hoping to get a fight. I know I'm talking as Chelsea fan right now, but it looks difficult. You're right. As in, probably they're going to ship in goals easily.
Yeah, definitely. I think I think you're right. Actually, my three to go down actually at the start of the season was Southampton. Bournemouth 20th. I had Fulham. Well, that's obviously wrong. And Southampton. Southampton was the other one. So possibly we could be getting two out of those three. Hello, John. Thank you for tuning in, mate. Hope you're good. True EK got the summer transfer window to come. Arsenal 4, Bournemouth 0. I almost said 4-0, actually. I almost said 4-0. We'll happily take more easy fixtures. Barcelona on the way to the final in the FA Cup and the Europa League. Yeah, like you're fantastic against Barcelona. I watched both of those games. I even did the first game as a watch along, and I was very impressed with the way that Manchester United played in that game. And actually, I think you were the better team over the two legs. If I'm being honest, I don't think. I know Barcelona had that sort of period in the first half, but even they got their dodgy penalty in the end, but in the end it was a very, very comfortable win, in my honest opinion. Transfer Saka into my FPL and he didn't do anything against Leicester. Yeah,
now
absolutely.
I know what's the reality.
For Arsenal, hello. Come on, Ankit, bye. You know you want to back us. Arsenal 3, Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 2-0. Do you guys think Arsenal has the same issue as United, having thin squad? If 1-2 important players get injured, then it's tough. Good question. I would have said yes if it was obviously for the fact that Jesus obviously hasn't come back yet. But Arsenal really haven't missed Jesus, have they?
Yeah, again, I think they have scouted and probably recruited among the best, if I may say so. And it pains me to say, but that's the reality of it. We have to admit that. Getting a Trossard in a season where you are fighting for the title and you kind of, midway through the season get him, who's been there, done that this season, and not just in the past. So that is a no-brainer. And he's someone who's very flexible. He can play on the leftish side. He can play as a number 10. He can play as a number 9 or be the false 9. And which actually Gabriel Jesus also is, to be honest, right? So yeah. I think that kind of suits them. But also, Devesh, you're forgetting that a certain Jorginho moved. Like I just said, yes, Lokonga has gone on loan, but arguably they've got a plan B. So what they had earlier is Lokonga, who was maybe an understudy of a Partey, who kind of didn't do exactly what Partey did. Obviously, you got to say that Partey will be best, generally speaking. But still, what Jorginho brings is that calmness, that experience when you're going for the title run, and you can have that kind of cushion with someone who has a vision for the past. And nowadays, he takes shots. You never know. He takes
Mm.
shots. Emi Martinez might know that, the goalkeeper of the world, supposedly yesterday. But anyway, that's what I'm there. For me, honestly speaking, Aston have done good business, even at the back, right? As in, remember, Tomiyasu was supposed to be the guy who's supposed to play every game, but no, he hasn't played, right?
Hmm.
And still they've survived, and they've survived well. Ben White being a right back, you have to give credit to Arteta, the way that he's utilized the adaptability of the squad. I think you have to commend that.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Arsenal will slap Bournemouth. We'll have Bournemouth slapped in the first half. Interesting. We talk football. Hello, hi guys. I think Arsenal are not going to give any other gift to City now in the remainder of the season. Yeah, I think so as well. For Arsenal, big up Dakash Bai. Arsenal 2-0. Bournemouth won't be as easy as it looks. Arsenal 3-0. Yes, Douglas, great prediction. Thank you very much. Arsenal can easily win their next 5 fixtures. Yeah, feels like they probably will. Arsenal 4-0. Jorginho made Arsenal worse up until the Aston Villa game. Once a blue, always a blue. And John Conley's going Arsenal 5-0. Well, do you know what? I would not be too surprised if Arsenal do go a bit goal crazy against Bournemouth. But we shall see. Yeah, this next game is a very interesting one. It is at Villa Park. It's Aston Villa against Crystal Palace. Aston Villa, good win against Everton. Ollie Watkins, Ankit, in the form of his
Oh.
life, isn't he?
Purple patch, yeah. He's in a proper purple patch.
Mm.
Listen, as in Aston Villa, for me, Emery has kind of gotten a mentality that probably was lacked a little bit under Gerrard. Let's be honest, but at the same time, has he done that consistently? If not for Ollie Watkins, I think they wouldn't have as well. Again, you can argue
Yeah.
the Arsenal game was something that they should have gotten a draw out of. I know last game is Emi Martinez kind of gave it away, and I know that happens. But before that Jorginho moment. So they have kind of looked better, but again, have they convinced me totally? If I'm being honest, no, really. Aston Villa haven't really
Mm.
convinced me totally. Remember, as in years aside, in us Chelsea, I know I'm bringing Chelsea to the equation here. We have literally not won and then literally not scored a goal. Aston Villa there or thereabouts, just behind us, but they still haven't overtaken us. So that tells me a lot that okay, they are not doing much. So despite I know Everton, but again, is Everton the Everton of what we know they can do? Not yet under Sean
No.
Dyche. So I would say I have my jury out for Emery still. Not fully convinced, but I know that Crystal Palace, it's probably worse. Crystal Palace, you can argue, has been among the worst sides in the Premier League this calendar. They haven't got a win. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I think they haven't got a win in the whole of the
No, I
calendar
don't
year.
think so. I don't think they've
Yeah,
got a win.
it's 2 months now. They haven't got a win. Yeah,
2 months,
so
yeah.
that's really bad. And again, they have a lot of like players with spark, like an Olise, a Mateta. I know Zaha is a huge miss, generally speaking. But again, last match, for
Mm.
example, Eze wasn't starting, which is a surprise for me. I have
Yeah.
been a little bit underwhelmed, if I'm being really honest, with Patrick Vieira. I know that he really badly wanted Gallagher at the beginning of the season. That midfield spark that he gave last season was different. This time they kind of don't have that in midfield, but they have enough good players for me. As in, for me, they have really got enough good players. They are like pretty huge players, so they can get results, but
Mm.
they haven't been able to get that. So now for Crystal Palace, again, it's 11th versus 12th. Technically, it's one of the other team which is going to overtake Chelsea is what the fight is for this particular game. I know it pains
Yeah.
me to say it, but I can see this being a proper dogfight. This game can be getting to that with the physicality that Crystal Palace have. But again, can Ollie Watkins get yet another goal? I have my doubts there. So I will go. This one will be a little bit scrappy. I'll go for a 1-all draw.
1-1 draw. Yeah, I was thinking of a 1-1. Do you know that? I think it does actually have draw written all over it. Palace are not playing the best. I mean, how they didn't beat Liverpool, I'll never know. They should have beaten us. Mattea hit the crossbar when it looked easier to
Yeah, I think
score.
Allison was kind of, he got the angle wrong, right? And the goal
Hmm.
was clear for him to take it. I don't know, he just panicked maybe. See, that's Crystal Palace. They don't score enough goals, they're not getting results. So that's why,
Yeah.
like, if they get a goal somehow, and that's what Aston Villa is probably capable of more than Liverpool. So that's the
Yeah.
reason.
I'm. I think Villa will win this. I'm going 1-0 Villa. I think it'll be a
Okay.
very scrappy game, but I just think Villa have just got that little bit more when it comes to sort of attack. I think they've got a bit of the cutting edge as well. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Aston Villa. Sorry, I meant 3-0. I think that was the last game. John's gone 2-1 to Villa. Ryan's gone 3-1 to Villa. Shane O'Donnell's gone 2-1 to Villa. 1-1 I would go to is Devish. Palace's last win was on the 31st December.
Wow.
Wow.
So
who was that against then?
I don't know, but this will be. I know they lost to Chelsea. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
But in a strange way, I think at least we have some sides, Doug. Liverpool and Chelsea can take kind of confidence that at least some sides are there who's not got to win for 2 months straight. But yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah, definitely. Sportcat's gone 1-0 Villa as well. We told people saying continue to score in a 2-1 win. Interesting. Well, we shall wait and see for
Buendia
that.
has been quite good. I must say that he has been really impressive last couple of weeks. So watch out for him. I would say, I know it's a Watkins show, but Buendia has actually looked very impressive. The Buendia of Norwich, and we all remember that's when he was like crazily good.
Yeah, 100%. Brighton against West Ham. Now, every single time West Ham have played Brighton, they have never ever won. They have never ever even. They have got a couple of points against Brighton, but they have never beaten Brighton. Now, Brighton obviously have had a bit of a week off. They didn't play last week because they were meant to be playing Newcastle away. Obviously, just the cup final that was obviously postponed, so that's obviously going to have to be played at a later date. They are playing Stoke this evening in the FA Cup. What have you made of Brighton? Because I think when obviously Potter left Brighton, I don't think anyone probably expected the impact that De Zerbi has actually had on Brighton.
Correct. And in fact, listen, De Zerbi is a great coach, and I know that he plays a lot of attacking football, but his sides have been known to be porous at the back. That's also a problem.
Yeah.
With Brighton, that hasn't seemed to be the case as much, right? Maybe you can argue because by then Potter was there long enough for them to kind of get the system going and stuff like that. But you have to say again, the impact that players like Mitoma have had in Brighton, you wouldn't have expected that either, right? Especially considering McAllister was coming off after the World Cup and things like that. So I think there has been like a nice transition between the World Cup and now with Brighton, having a couple of players out. So for me, it has worked in his favor, De Zerbi. But now, if you actually notice, the last couple of weeks before the week off, they actually have just picked 1 point in the last 6 they could have, right? So for me, Brighton are maybe just hitting that patch that we spoke for Newcastle just the beginning of the stream. So I think maybe I'm just hoping and hope, considering even I'm sure Liverpool are, Liverpool, Chelsea both are. But honestly speaking, you have to give credit to Brighton. I think De Zerbi is doing a great job. And for me, they have the players to kind of definitely beat any team, and I mean literally any team in the Premier League. And that's so rare that you talk about Brighton like that, and that's what they've shown, right, in matches. But again, West Ham, they were like a proper relegation fight. All of a sudden, they beat an informed Nottingham Forest 4-0. I don't know from where did that come from. Right?
Where did that come from? Yeah.
Correct. And talk about players, like on paper, you would still argue the West Ham have a much better team. Like I would still argue that, right? They have a much better team on paper. So it was all about them getting the result, maybe, and maybe this is the time probably for David Moyes to say, okay, fine, the momentum is back towards us and not the other teams, around that relegation dogfight. So I think I might actually see again, a pretty high scoring game here because both the sides like to kind of go that way. I know West Ham haven't scored much goals, but they have the personnel. So I'm actually going for like West Ham to just about get the win again. Yes, 2 back-to-back wins for West Ham. A Londoner kind of talking that not heard of, but I think I can probably see that. I think Brighton are probably just hitting that the wall at some point. I'm going with maybe a 3-2 to West Ham away.
3-2 West Ham. Wow.
A crazy result. But that's what sometimes it happens when the fixtures get going, So and Brighton have had that break, so I can see them not getting that chemistry going.
Yeah, Brighton did actually win 2-0 earlier in the season. I think it was at the London Stadium. but this stat about West Ham never beating Brighton in the Premier League, it's got to end. It's got to end at some point. It
Exactly,
has
exactly. It's
has
got
to
to.
end at some point. Um, I'm going to go 2-1 Brighton. I think West Ham have had a bit of a good sort of week. They've had two very, very good victories on the back of their belts. About, yeah, 4-0 against
Mhm.
Nottingham Forest. I never, ever, ever saw that coming. So
Yeah.
fair play to West Ham. Fair play to West Ham. But I do think that Brighton will sneak this one. I'm going to go 2-1 to the Seagulls. 1-0 Villa. At least they look like the only player that want to score against Liverpool. Getting Anderson and Zaha back will keep them up. Yeah, definitely. I don't think Palace are going to be in a relegation battle, Travis. I really don't. 2-0 Brighton says Sport Cat. Brighton won because West Ham has midweek fixture 2, 3-1 Brighton. Brighton 2, West Ham 1. Afternoon, Diego. Hope you, or good evening, I should say, Diego. Hope you are well, mate. Brighton 2-0. Travis gone 2-1 to Brighton. Brighton 2, West Ham 0. Brighton 1, West Ham 3. Back-to-back wins. Ooh. Interesting, Diego. Very, very interesting. Right. Well, I guess you know what game's coming next.
Dirty Leeds.
Yeah,
Sorry, Leeds fans, but come on. As in being a Chelsea fan, I've got to do that. But people saying that as in we are a mockery right now. Let's be honest. I know, like we are playing
what
at home.
what
Yeah.
has gone wrong?
Everything that you ask for. Like, again, it might sound as excuses, but the fact is, to begin with, things first. Yeah, Tuchel, there were a lot of negatives that towards the end of this tenure, he was getting a little bit too rigid. There were problems with his personal life that was very visible in the press conferences, which is so unlike him. Even beat the irritation that he had, kind of a fight almost with Timo Werner, not directly, which was so unlike him again. So those kind of things happened towards the end, and it was, untenable, because somewhere down the line you have to get along with the owners, but the owners, I thought, pulled the plug at the wrong time. That was the first thing, that you don't really sack a manager just after your summer transfer window is ended, firstly, right?
Yeah.
First they did that. I know it's again back in the day now, what, 5 months ago, like time flies, I know. And
Mm,
then came Potter. First things first, he did not have experience to kind of manage such a big club. Great tactician, great coach. I know what he got, Brighton to do. You have to commend that, and of course, even before in his career. But when he came itself, like, he didn't have his own players, firstly, right? So you got to implement what you want to do. First few games weren't bad, and then the World Cup happened. Again, easy for us to say that World Cup was there for everyone, but this was a new manager with a bigger squad than what he has in Brighton. And that squad became even bigger when he signed the X number of players, and count. I've lost count, right? We just like Nottingham
yeah.
Forest almost. We've signed so many. While I don't agree to the fact that the banter that we're getting, that we're just going and buying everyone is FIFA manager, we have bought well. Problem is that the owners, along with, obviously, as in beat Potter, I don't know who's responsible, but Potter, Burley, Iqbali, the entire gang, they have gone and purchased people for the future. There is, like, I cannot single out even a single person there who is like, okay, this is one for now. Maybe Joao Felix at best, but even he's on loan, right? So
Mm,
Enzo Fernandez, yes, close, but again, he's very young. You saw the weekend, there was a, typical mistake that you don't make, you kind of don't do with the experience, those kind of things. So there are very good players on paper. Bardishil looked really good, but again, these are set of individuals who are very young. Many of them are playing first time in the league, even, right? So for them to gel with these players, it takes time. Now, what he probably should have done in hindsight is, probably they should have gone with a couple of experienced players, couple of young players, and the others that they've got, they should have sent out on loan right away. Now that was an issue. Now we did not send out even a Ziyech. Actually, in a strange way, I'm not that unhappy about Ziyech, because he has stayed back, because he's one of the few experienced players, at least, although his performances have not been great, but still
yeah.
we need that somewhere down the line. And here, this guy is having a squad of 33 players, Potter, right? And he has not even managed a squad of 23 players, probably that at max, right? Previously.
Yeah.
Plus, you have Champions League, where he's kind of, trailing despite a good performance. You've had players who are not finishing. Then at same point, you yourself remove Aubameyang from your Champions League squad, who is again one of the few rare players who knows Premier League, who is basically experienced to know the Champions League, right? you kind of remove him from the squad. What are you giving the signal to the squad and him? No, not great.
Mm.
So I know you're technically saying that Aubameyang is part of my Premier League squad, but that is something which it's clear for me the players are not playing for him. There is a disharmony, not outrightly. I know reports are saying they're happy with Potter, his behavior and stuff like that. It's great. He's very professional. He's respectful and all those things. But are you getting inspired by him? Because the kind of decisions that he's making off the pitch and on the pitch do not kind of add up. They don't add up for me. Again, why would you not have Aubameyang in a side which is hardly scoring goals? I have no idea. I know he's not a great goal scorer. I know I myself said that Aubameyang is a fraud. There was a stream I
Yeah.
did and I clearly said he's a fraud because I saw the lack of intent. But that lack of intent now in hindsight I understand. Potter never gave him the assurance that you're my man, right? So that and
Yeah.
Aubameyang, we all know when things go bad, can go bad with him. We saw it at Arsenal, right?
Mm.
So again, when supposedly a senior player in the squad, you're doing that. What signal does it send to the young players? I know the degree of emotional intelligence and whatnot. It doesn't help. All that doesn't help. These are young guys of 20 to 24 years of age. For them to see all these things happening, it gives them a lot of confusion in the mind. Plus, getting to bad habits like too much passing, not shooting, those kind of things which is already existing in Chelsea. So the things can only multiply in a bad way, and that is what is happening again on the touchline. Questionable Potter. Yes, he cannot change his behavior, but when a ref, and it's not about just putting an excuse, as in at least I can name you last 3 out of the 4 last matches that we had, the ref was garbage, utter garbage, right? When such
Mhm.
a thing happens, you have to stand up for your team. When you don't have a leader, Aspilicueta has got injured, Thiago Silva has not got injured. Who's going to stand up and actually voice out? Even a Pep Guardiola, you can see him on the
Mhm.
sidelines going mad when such things happen. And this is part of football. This is not a corporate culture. This is not Brighton. With all due respect, when you are at Chelsea, you have to know that the pressure is accelerated. You have, yes, you can get assurance of a 5-year contract and you're getting paid the bucks. You're getting an assurance, you're getting a preseason next season, you've got an assurance, but nothing is carved in stone. You've got to know that, and you've
Yeah.
got to press the button when the need is there. And for me, this club is not the club I know, and that's what we were talking off stage, Doug, that for me, see, the reason why I became a Chelsea fan, what, 23, 24 years ago now, is because of the resilience that I saw. Maybe like even a Wise, even like people like them, like they just fought for the badge no matter what. And against Leeds, against Spurs, we saw that. It's a six-pointer, Doug. It's a six-pointer where we don't care after the first 15 minutes and we just, go into a shell after the referee, screws it up for us. We cannot do that.
Mhm.
Leeds, if we are not up for this game, I think it's gone. Sorry to say, Quarter is gone. I know that he's getting assurances, but if the players are not able to turn up, and I would blame the players as well, like they are professionals, there's enough experience and enough as a knowledge in them to kind of do more than what they're doing. But if they don't turn up against Leeds, and I did mention dirty Leeds for a reason, I hope the players are aware at least
Yeah.
that there is a rivalry, and that's where I want my Reece James, my Gallagher's, my Mason Mounts of the world to at least be more vocal on the pitch. We need that, and they are not doing it. And when they are not doing, which is so unlike them, I have my question marks against Potter because it starts from the manager no matter what.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went on a
And
monologue, but
no, no, no,
I,
no, no, no. Obviously, I just obviously wanted to get your obviously, your take on obviously what's happened at Chelsea, and yeah, I think as well. Like I obviously said off air, Potter's Chelsea's reminding me of when Hodgson went in at Liverpool.
yeah,
Both are out of their depth. You can quite clearly see both are out of their depth. Look, Hodgson was a very, very good manager. Potter is a good manager. You're not a bad manager for overnight, but there's certain aspects when it comes to managing a big six club, and I'm just not sure Potter is right at it. For me, I think he would do well at Spurs. I think he would do well at Spurs, but I just I just think with all this money, with all the players that have come in, as well, something clearly isn't right. And you're playing the opponents who beat you 3-0 earlier in the season, and that game was an embarrassment.
That was probably the worst game. I was just about to say that. And Koulibaly, one of the people that probably was waiting in Chelsea for years together. I remember that game. He took an early yellow card, and that's what the end of the game was for me, right? Because for me, Leeds, the kind of pressing they do, the kind of intensity they have, if they're not able to match it up, no matter, I know they've lost the manager, but still they've got to do more, the players, and that's where I don't see this happening with this Chelsea side at least. Like, see, again, it's about Potter not able to inspire them, and if yeah, he doesn't need to do, because the players should be knowing their responsibilities, but they are getting an excuse. If Potter is not going and saying the right things in the media, the it's a world of social media we are in, right? So
Yeah.
if he goes and says that I have the trust of the supporter, of the owners, it's not easy, it's a trust the process. We have, just see what Klopp did, just see what Pep did. We had like so many players out, people say, a couple of senior players told me it wasn't anywhere close to the best preseason that we had. These come across as excuses to anyone in the world, no matter where they are, what they do, who is between 20 and 25 years of age. It negatively, inspires them. We need some positive inspiration, and that's why I don't know. Only hope what I'm assuming, that till the time maybe Kante is back on the pitch, that vibe on the pitch will not be back, because
Yeah.
Kante gives that vibe. That vibe is needed. That vibe is missing. Joao Felix and Enzo Fernandez gave it for a couple of weeks, but they have got into the bad habit for the last couple of weeks. So that's what is
Mm,
I'm scared about. With what Havertz, what a fantastic player he was when he came to Chelsea, and look at how he's right now. Mount,
yeah.
as in. So how can everyone become so bad all of a sudden? They cannot, right, Doug? We have seen football enough.
Yeah.
They aren't playing for the manager. They're not as motivated for themselves to be doing so well. Even Reece James, I know he's back from injury, being a little bit harsh, but you are not getting that kind of output from him. Beat voice, beat strength, beat finishing. So I have to question that. But again, hoping against hope that, come on, we've got a double given to Southampton. If we get a double given to Leeds, trust me, bro, I'm losing it. Not that I've already lost it.
Yeah. What are you going to go for? You have to back your team, surely.
Yeah, let's score a goal for once. Let's put. I think the last goal he scored was West Ham, was it? People in the chat, please help me
West
out. I
Ham,
think West
yeah.
Ham.
Joe Felix's goal
Oh
was
man,
the only goal Chelsea
and that
scored in
was a great
February.
goal, by the way. Yeah,
It
but
was.
I think you know what? Joao Felix looks like the only person. Again, this guy brings him off. Doesn't play Darthur for fun. I have a question as a Potter. I know. Again, I'm going back to the same thing, but I know what. I think I'll go with one goal. And Leeds, the way that they play, they'll give us the space enough. I think and plus even they are in relegation fight. Plus the rivalry. I'm definitely calling it us at least scoring one goal. But without Thiago Silva, can I see us keeping a clean sheet? Wesley Fofana looks good after coming on, I must say, but I think I will concede. So I'm going for a 1-1, unfortunately. Another draw. Pains me to say it, but that's the reality. At least not a double.
Yeah. I just cannot see Leeds going to Chelsea and win. I mean, if they do, then Potter's gone. I think, definitely.
He should have been gone a week ago.
Yeah.
But I hear you.
But the fact you're saying, obviously, like Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, they could potentially go above you. I think Leeds are struggling for goals as well. Junior Firpo scored at the weekend. That just kind of shows
Hmm.
how bad they have been for goal scorers. But
I think
I'm gonna
Nonto
go
is
one
someone
0
that I really like, by the way. Nonto, I don't know if he's fit. I think he's
Nonto.
right, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really impressive. This guy's and the way our defense is, I'm scared of this guy. He's a spark for sure. I think
Mm. That,
actually last game, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the last game was one of the first games that they played all the three Americans together. I think the midfield, of course, the one
yeah.
that is signed McKennie, and of course they had Tyler Adams as well as Aronson. All the three played together, and actually they got a good result. So with Nonto and that, like they have that proper Leeds mentality kind of players. So
Yeah.
I can see them scoring, man. It's very difficult, right, for them to
Well,
not to score
interesting
this
you
time.
say you think you can see them scoring. I'm going 1-0 Chelsea. I
Okay,
think
I hope that comes true. That's all
I
I can hope
think
for.
you need this win, and then it might obviously boost you against obviously Borussia Dortmund in the week there. It's going to be a very very difficult game anyway. But No,
Yeah.
surely, you cannot lose again. As well, Potter is enough of making excuses. Prota scheduled according to some sort of scheduling for Saturday. Interesting. Chelsea nil, these two. I've had enough. I don't have any hope. I know I knew we were going to lose against Spurs. We're going to miss Thiago Silva so much. His leadership skills are on another level. Yeah, he is a big loss. He is a big loss. I think the Chelsea midfielders have not given quality service to the strikers and
Who's to be the
wingers.
captain in Aspilicueta and Thiago Silva's absence? Like I know Reece James probably got the armband, but again, is he a voice in the pitch? I'm in the minority. I am in the few supporters who think that Reece James is probably inspirational in what he does, but I don't think he's like a captain material really. For me, he
Mm,
doesn't come across as a voice. You know what I mean? As in Jorginho used to be. I know people don't
yeah,
agree with him much, but I think I
I
did
don't.
in terms of leadership.
I don't think Enzo Fernandez was ever a captain at Benfica, was he?
Yeah, a little too early anyway. So it'll be interesting. Like again, maybe Kepa, as in, I think I might have. He actually is a. He can be a coach. Remember Kepa? He kind of takes his own
Yeah,
calls, and you never know. As in Kepa might. For me, he actually I know minority choice, but for me, Kepa might just be there. But again, Devesh, I know this. Opposition fans will love that. I must say, Devesh and everyone in the chat that when I say Potter should have been out, I don't mean get a new manager right now. I don't think things will change. What I mean is, I rather have a interim who understands the Chelsea DNA right now than Potter. He simply does not
mm,
understand. As much as I feel for the guy, don't get me wrong, but that's what I want. Someone, even I would take a John Terry just being in the sideline, being an assistant to Potter if he's agreeing to that.
yeah. Davis says you can't stand Potter now. Just take the season as a free hit. Hope for some miracle to happen for Europe. So it's Potter Brighton has very less. Yes, he did. He did indeed. So that Potter's still on the job is shocking. Really, a very bad appointment. It's clearly not working. Plus, the Chelsea fans are on his back, which brings a lot of
Yeah.
negativity. Tuchel shouldn't have been sacked. Yeah, 100%. Shane's gone 2-0 Leeds. I was to go with a team like this formation 3-4-3. Kepa, Fofana, Badiashile, who I think has been fantastic. Badiashile, I think he's been excellent. Koulibaly, Chilwell, Kovacic, Fernandez, James, Madueke, sorry, Felix, and Mudrik. That's an
I'm
interesting side,
glad
I've
he's
got to
including
say.
Mudrik, and that's one criticism Potter. Like the guy is the first of all, Mudrik has been a target of opposition fans, obviously, because you're that big money signing, right? But then
Yeah,
you got to give the guy some confidence. He's as in just removing all the confidence that he has, like for whatever reason. So it doesn't make sense for me. Again, like you must know Sterling more than anyone, Doug. Sterling is
yeah,
good, but when Sterling is not the Sterling of Liverpool, right? As in he's someone who
no,
requires supply, right? As he's that kind of Sterling now. So he's not going to do things from the wings that he used to do with Liverpool. So
yeah,
he's simply not using the people rightly, Potter.
yeah, absolutely. Ryan's gone 1-0 Leeds. Interesting. The injury itself is another massive blow for Chelsea. My prediction is Chelsea 0 Leeds United 1. Not sure the players understand Potter's game now. You could have Sterling, but keep him on the bench, bring him on so he's fresh, and then we could get a goal later in the game. Potter's not able to handle the big pressure of a big club like Chelsea. He looks lost, and the players are lost too. It will not improve under Potter. That's the reality. Bully is a big issue to me. 3-1 for Blues. Shocking, but mark my words, players will take responsibility now. Well, I've got 1-0. We talk football.
Let's
So,
hope. I don't know. It's a big call though.
yeah, you know what? Play Felix on the left. It may seem strange. Play Aubameyang with Sterling on the right. Kepa, Fofana, Badiashile, Koulibaly, Fernandez, Kovacic, Felix, Aubameyang, Sterling. He can play on the right. Potter would not do well at Spurs.
If I may quickly comment that I think Felix needs to be like the main man, who
Mm-hmm.
has most of the ball. Just like, for example, how Manchester United work well when Bruno is centrally, right? So for me, Felix needs to be that guy. So I think I won't
Yeah.
probably agree with Felix being on the left. I think we couldn't use Mudrik on the left, which is he's actually a winger. So imagine Felix being on the left. Like I think Mason Mount, Felix can play there, but they're not wingers really.
Yeah, Potter wanted to do well at Spurs because the big pressure there is just as big. It is indeed, and obviously with obviously Christian Stellini doing well at Spurs under obviously Conte's absence as well. 1-1.
Yeah.
Going to feel bad for whoever finishes 18th. We need to try something new. I don't care what we do, long as we go and all attack and we need change. Gaurav Bordia, hello. Leeds win as Chelsea
Hmm.
fan. There is playing style players and manager are toothless. Don't know what's happening. We look lost. Potter's just giving too many excuses. The recruitment of Chelsea has been awful. Spending money in the likes of Kukurea and Koulibaly, overpaying for them. To Koulibaly struggling with the pace of the Prem.
He has improved though. Huddersfield Town TV, he has improved. I must give it to Koulibaly there.
One of the problems is that none of them are Potter signings. Yep, absolutely. Both the Leeds United and Borussia Dortmund matches are make or break for Potter, I reckon, 100%. Potter doesn't start Mudryk and Chilwell more often. 1-1 draw, says Devish. Potter's to be doing better, as I don't see what he's trying to do with this team. There's no identity on the pitch. 1-0 Leeds, says Gaurav. Interesting. Good evening, Hella. Good evening. Hope you're well. Do not apologise for being late. Do not apologise for being late. Let me just say, I'm firmly potted in, says Hella. Evening,
Come
Hella.
on.
3 ATB is the way we should play.
I also want him to do well. Please prove me wrong. That's all I want. I just want him to
absolutely.
do well.
Same evening, Diego and Devish. We average less than 1 goal a game. Wow. Kukurea awful, maybe Koulibaly, but Kukurea, oh my God. Potter, no say in the signings, in my opinion. Yes, well, there we go. That is enough sort of Chelsea chat, and obviously until Saturday, of course, as well. The next game is a very interesting game, actually. It's at Molineux. It's Wolves against Tottenham. No, yeah, Liverpool playing Wolves. I'm fed up of playing Wolves. Absolutely fed up with playing Wolves. They're a very funny side, Ankit, because they beat Liverpool 3-0. They then lose to Bournemouth, and then somehow they draw 1-1 with Fulham when they actually, I thought they were the better team against Fulham as well. And then obviously Tottenham, they did win against Chelsea at the weekend. They do have Sheffield United in the FA Cup as well. I would not be too surprised if Spurs go out of the cup. I would not be surprised in the slightest. So this is a very interesting game. I think Lopetegui has done really, really well with Wolves so far. And obviously Christian Stellini is on 100% win rate as sort of assistant manager to Conte. So how do you see it going?
Yeah, there's going to be one of those KG games. I feel it'll be the quality, and Wolves actually have some quality, some individual bit of quality, something that Wolves have. Again, remember, certain Wolves midfielders, someone that both Liverpool and Chelsea are going for. But for me, overall, again, I would not say that Lopetegui has been super impressed, but the fact that it's a new league for him, and I know there's pressure at Wolves where they were in the table. So it's done decently well. I think win over Southampton as well. I know that doesn't count for a lot. Unless you're Chelsea, but I am calling this to be a tighter game than people imagine because of the fact that Spurs, we all know that they do great for 1 week. I know they were not fantastic, but still that it was a big win. Let's be honest. Spurs Chelsea was a huge win for them because that's not happened often in the Premier League. So for them to win that and then kind of go there now, get to difficult fixtures, I think they might actually be facing a difficult Wolves here. But yeah, you have to go with Spurs because just as like I said, the quality bit of it, Spurs are there or thereabouts. They have that like a Son coming with the bench and changing these days. So
yeah,
you have to give it, especially when Conte is not there. So you have to call that. But again, Wolves will keep it tight. So I'm going for the odd goal here. I know what Wolves don't score enough goals as well. So I'm going for just Spurs getting a 1-0 victory.
1-0 Spurs. Yeah, I was thinking between 1-0 and then 2-1, and I've actually stuck with 2-1 Tottenham. So I'm going 2-1. Mm-hmm. I think they'll concede. I honestly do. But I think Wolves, Sarabia, Sarabia's looking pretty good recently as well. So I'll give them a goal. Anyway, yes, we did. We went into a right preview for the Chelsea game there. 3 at the back is the way we should play. That suits us more. Chile and James can play freely and attack more than 4 at the back. James doesn't get the freedom to attack. That's very true. Wolves 1, Spurs 3, says Ryan. 2-2, says Shane. A bit of a Desmond there. 2-1 Wolves, says Hella. Yeah, Hella does not like Spurs for some reason. 2-1 Spurs. I think Wolves home win, 1-0. Interesting. Spurs most unpredictable. Not going to win this one, 2-0 or 2-1. Very interesting. And then Wolves 1, Spurs 2. Guys, if you are new to the channel, do hit that subscribe button, do hit the like button, and also do check out Almighty Blues and Almighty Sports Plus as well. Reese is going for a 0-0 draw. Very, very interesting. There is an evening game on Saturday. When we think about Southampton, Leicester City, one of the things we always think about is obviously that 9-0 win for Leicester City. But Southampton losing to Leeds, I've got to say, I didn't see that coming because of how well they played against Chelsea, and obviously with James Ward-Prowse and obviously free kicks, etc. Ruben Selles is obviously the manager now until the end of the season. Do you think that's the right choice for Southampton?
Not really. If I'm being really honest, not really. Can I see them kind of escape the drop? No. And I say this after getting giving them a double that we did, right? Because for me, Southampton side kind of lack that that star quality that one needs. I know Southampton have always been that selling club and stuff like that, but I think they have a lot of. Don't get me wrong, they have a lot of very very impressive youngsters like Bella Kochap is someone who's like fantastic in my opinion. That
He's
guy has got
excellent.
some future for sure. I think Lavia, he's one from the Man City academy who's really good in midfield. Then obviously you have a Livermento who's been unfit most of the time, but he's very good. You have Kyle Walker-Peters. They have a lot of exciting players generally overall speaking, but I think for me, you needed someone with a lot of experience to take that Southampton side for them to kind of get over the line from this difficult situation in the Premier League. And again, like coming against Leicester, again, you can argue that Leicester's actually been one of the form sides in the Premier League last month and a half, right? I know they didn't get a result against Manchester United, was it? But before that, they were good. Even the Manchester United game, I think the first half, they were the better team, in my opinion, right? So you cannot call it again, like definitely not a 9-0. I'm not going there that way, don't worry guys. But I can see Leicester getting at least a couple goals, if not more. You know what, I'll go for a 3-1 or rather 3-0 Leicester win.
3-0 Leicester, wow. I think Leicester will win, but I'm gonna go for something really, really close. I'm going 2-1 Leicester. I think it'll be a very, very interesting one. Definitely a very, very interesting one as well. Yes, Gareth, absolutely. Spurs coach hasn't lost one match. Ward-Prowse free kick goal if he gets in the range. Definitely. Southampton won, Maddison 2. I like that. I do like that. Southampton 1-1 against Leicester. And Southampton 1, Leicester 3, says Reese Gaming Channel. Very, very quickly, how big of a loss is Tielemans?
He is, but to be honest, have they been relying on Tielemans as much as what they used to in the past? Probably not. I would say. It's like for me, he's not been like the main guy for Leicester that he was in the past, right? So for me, that's something that Leicester probably been anyway. It was inevitable at some point, right? And you know that he's not going to be in Leicester forever. So this is something that you can argue that again. I know they kind of have a Dewsbury Hall and stuff like that in midfield. They're not the same, but they do a specific job for you. And maybe in a strange way that gives Maddison the space that he needs. With Barnes on the left hand side, we have Iheanacho up top. So I think they'll be good, as in they have enough in them. I don't think it's a case of them being very inexperienced. They do have players. It was just about them hitting the form, which they kind of have. It's not like what they were. Like they remember 3 months ago, we were thinking Leicester could get relegated. We actually were. Right.
Yeah.
And you have to give credit to Brendan Rodgers and the squad. So I don't think it's about one or two players here. I think they have enough in the squad to kind of get over the line with these games.
Yeah, definitely. I think Maddison's a big plus if he's back anyway. Hello, Anthony. Hope you're well. 2-1 Southampton. Interesting. 2-0 Leicester, says Ryan. Leicester finding form 2-1 Leicester. Sadly, Vardy hasn't been playing much. Looks like it's the end for him. Gets injured a lot. He certainly does. Yatin, good evening, Yatin. Big up to Douglas and Ankit. See you guys later. Have an exam tomorrow. Good luck, mate. Good luck indeed. Ankit wants Leicester to win because of what Saints did to them. Yes, I think so.
Not really. You know what? People forget. I know I might get the stick for this. But Brendan Rodgers, as much as he was an ex-Liverpool manager, the guy was actually a Chelsea coach. People actually forget that. And he was actually there. And he was actually very instrumental. People don't realize that.
He was
but
indeed.
Not biased.
He was
just a fact.
1-1 Southampton Leicester, says Diego, and Gareth is going 2-1 to Leicester City. Right, we'll move on to the Sunday games because obviously there is one big game on Sunday, but this one, Sean Dyche returns to Nottingham Forest as Everton manager. He was obviously a big player for Nottingham Forest in the past, wasn't he? Well, I mean, Nottingham Forest 4-0 defeat against West Ham. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
That was a
Everton,
one-off. Yeah, that was
that
a
was a
one-off.
one-off.
Definitely.
Yeah. Everton losing 2-0 against Aston Villa. Um, I've got to be honest, this finished 1-1 early in the season,
It's written all
and
over it, right?
it
A draw is written all over it. Let's be
I
honest.
think I think this has drawn it all over it. But
Yeah.
yeah, what have you made of both of these sides this season?
Actually, Nottingham Forest, they have been pleasantly surprising after the World Cup. I don't know how. It is so strange. Like they made all these signings and they didn't stop even the winter transfer window, right? And they have still gelled. So that is the last that you expect out of a side which has made like what? I've lost count of the number of signings they've made. 30? I don't know. Entire squad has been changed, right? So with that squad they've got gel, and in fact like the kind of football that they've also played, you have to give it to them. Like again, the traditional Nottingham Forest of the sides, it's very rare that you get so many changes. You get the DNA of the club, and that's what I think the managers got them able to do that. Maybe it was just about them kind of settling down, and World Cup kind of gave them a good break in a strange way. That's what I would say. But Everton, on the other hand, we all know with Lampard, he couldn't take them over the line this time, and he was like, he had to discontinue there. But Sean Dyche, we all know that he likes to play that typical 4-4-2. With Everton, problem is he doesn't have the personnel to do that really, especially with Dominic Calvert-Lewin not being reliable for 90 minutes nowadays because of his fitness or lack of it. Again, you can argue about the lack of signings. Otherwise, shocking part is they didn't even sign a single player. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was the most shocking part for me. But still,
Yeah.
Sean Dyche, at least I think Iwobi has evolved as a player in terms of defensive work rate, along with what he brings. So he'll get them working in the 4-5-1. I can get them, kind of just about escaping relegation. I actually do. But
Mm,
for this game, I think it comes too soon for them. I cannot see them. I think Nottingham Forest was a one-off, like I said the earlier game. I cannot see Everton. First of all, they don't have enough goals in them, right? So max they'll score one, so I can see a nil-nil or a 1-1 all written all over it. But I can see Sean Dash being really tight at the back, and Nottingham Forest not getting either much as well. So yeah, 1-1 or nil-nil for me.
1-0. Yeah. Do you know what? This game has drawn it all over it. And it's just a case of a 1-1 or a 0-0. And
Imagine getting a 5-0 after a 4-0 from
oh, I
Nottingham
know.
Forest, the other way around.
No, I'm going 0-0. I honestly do not see any goals in this game.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. I honestly would not surprise me if this is one of the most dullest games of the weekend. Honestly, I would not be
But Everton
surprised.
need that, Everton need that, I would say.
Yeah,
Everton
I would
Everton would be good with that.
absolutely. Hella's gone 3-1 Everton. Interesting. Very interesting.
Wow.
26. It
26
was
players, okay.
26. Uh,
Wow.
Gareth goes for 1-0 typical Dyche masterclass. Everton 3-1, but I will settle for any scoreline that sees Forest lose. Yes, obviously there is a bit of banter there from the playoff final. Absolutely.
I can imagine.
I went 3-1 Man City this evening, Anthony. Sorry, I just don't see Bristol City beating Manchester City, but stranger things have happened. Stranger things have definitely happened. Yes, Everton Predictions was last night. I think Forest will respond. I don't know where Everton's goals will come from without Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Forest 1, Everton 0. 1-0 Forest, 1-0 Everton, and 1-0 Forest. So
Yeah.
everyone seems to be going for either 1-0 or
Or a draw.
basically a draw.
Yeah. You know
Um,
what? Gordon is a huge miss for Everton. As much as he didn't do enough as well,
yes.
a little bit overhyped, but I think that energy, like I know I spoke about an Iwobi, but an Iwobi and a Gordon would have done enough for Everton kind of get those odd, scrappy 1-0 victories, which I think I may not go with right now, but I hear the chat. Definitely, I agree with most of them.
Yeah. What do you make of Pickford signing a new contract?
Oof, I think it can only be the comfort factor, or in a strange way.
Mm,
See, as in he's become number one while at Everton. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was he number one before that? No, I don't think he became number one before that. I think once he moved to Everton, he
uh,
became number one. Right? He was in the
that's right.
squad, but not number one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as in somewhere down the line, he's thinking that I'm one of the main players for England, right? And I kind of have become that number one after coming to Everton, and then this is my home now, and let's be honest, how are goalkeepers really judged upon? Goalkeepers are judged upon either
Mm,
clean sheets or the amount of saves that you make. So Everton are not getting as many clean sheets as the topping sides, right?
yeah.
And with Everton, the way they're playing, he gets to make a lot of saves. So he's in a good space. You know what I mean? So he's in a good space.
Yeah.
So I don't think you will criticize him, but at some point you have to praise him as well, that he's showing the leadership that probably Everton needs at this point in time. Being that. So if I was him, let's be honest, wouldn't have extended the contract. But that's me, and that's where I'm not Jamie. Jamie, whatever it is. For me,
Yeah.
this guy is someone who was linked to so many clubs, but is staying. So just stay put. As in Everton, they have to just pray that they don't get relegated. If they get relegated, he's gone
Mm,
anyway at a high price.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Ryan says Gordon's attitude was poor towards the end as he didn't want to play for the club once he got looked away. Well, not really. I've got a few Evertonian friends who I speak to constantly. They were actually saying that apparently he was told to stay away from the club. They actually wanted to sell him because of what happened in obviously, the summer. Yeah. Are you kind of glad you didn't spend £60 million on Anthony Gordon?
Oh yeah, sure, for sure. As in, he didn't even like. I think let's be honest. Like he's as much as the rate Gallagher, I think I would take Gallagher over him. Different players, I know, but
Mm,
Gallagher can play on the wideish side as well as centrally, and he gives more energy. He knows the Chelsea DNA. Why spend on a similar kind of a player? Not very same, but similar genre. So I would not do that again. But just that fact that Gordon was effective in Everton, I actually feel that Everton probably should have just spoken to him and got things done. But anyway, they cannot do it every time. One window they could do it with Chelsea, and that always has. It's an Everton Chelsea thing.
yeah.
What people are commenting. Remember John Stones? John Stones went on a strike
Mm-hmm.
almost to come to Chelsea, but it never happened.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with
Absolutely.
Gordon, right?
Yeah.
And then they moved on. Let's see if he does a John Stones in his career. I really doubt it. But you have to say that Everton have missed the bus there. They have to, like, if they had some replacements, fair enough. But pretty sure
Mm,
they've just lost a player there. Uh, I would have just convinced him if I was Everton board. Like I would have just convinced him,
yeah.
spoken to him again, and somehow kept him for this season.
Yeah, Hella asking where would Pickford go. There was a potential rumor about Spurs potentially him replacing Larish. I could easily see that potentially, but
Yeah,
maybe obviously not now. But um, I just think, yeah, Pickford for me, I think he's comfortable. He's comfortable as well. Pickford is a very good keeper, but he shouldn't be anyone's understudy. Yeah, absolutely. Onana is one player I want at Everton. Sorry, Everton. Jesus Christ. Onana is one player I want at Chelsea if we don't get Rice.
yeah. Even he said no. By the way, Onana, I think he had as per reports, he had an option. We
Mm,
went for midfielders in the winter transfer window, and he said no. Again, my understanding is Gaurav that maybe he wants first team football as a starter, a guarantee that he has at Everton, and he's actually a good player. I hear you, but again, is he the difference maker for Everton to kind of get you goals? Probably the odd goal at best.
yeah. Well, we did say that Nottingham Forest Everton could be a bit dull, but the biggest game still in English football, in my honest opinion, it is Liverpool against Manchester United. It is the biggest game in English football still, in my honest opinion. It has to be. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting game because when these two sides meet, form goes out the window as well. Manchester United haven't won at Anfield since 2017 when a Wayne Rooney winner. I think it was a 1-0
Wow,
victory. It was under Van Gaal. I think it was Van Gaal's
that's
last
quite a
season, and
while.
obviously,
Yeah, that's quite a while. That's quite
aye,
a while.
it is. Manchester United have been very, very good. However, away from home against the top six, not great. They lost against City. They lost against Arsenal. They drew with Chelsea as well. Have they played Spurs? I don't know if they've played Spurs yet. I think they've played Spurs at Old Trafford, but I don't think they've played Spurs at the
Mhm.
Tottenham
Away,
Hotspur
yeah.
Stadium. And now they're coming to Anfield, where, as I said, they haven't won since 2017, 2018. Do you hold any hope for Liverpool in this game?
You know what? I hate to say it, Doug, for you, but I can see this record changing. I can see this record changing. And the reason is not just Liverpool. The reason is Manchester United, and I hate to say it. I know that got to be neutral as a content creator, but the fact is, every week I'm calling like, okay, there's got to be a bad spell. Like just like we spoke about Newcastle, there's got to be a bad spell. That ain't coming for Manchester United. That ain't coming. And the more they win, the more they want to win, and that's what maybe the Ferguson being in the matches kind of has helped as well. I would say, along with obviously Rashford's purple patch. But you have to give credit to Eric Ten Hag's mentality. He's driven the team. Even the fact that I hear that there was no partying after the Carabao Cup game, the final, there was just a couple of hours, and they kind of went back. They didn't delay the flight, etc., and they were back. So I think you have to give it to Manchester United. On the other hand, Liverpool. Yes, I know that you guys got a victory against Everton, a couple of victories, and then the Real Madrid game was like a reality check again,
Yeah.
and then again you had the weekend, right? So where again, let's be honest, we all spoke about it. Crystal Palace should have won that game. So not many positives for Liverpool, if you ask me. Yes, few positives has been
Mm,
like for me. Darwin Nunes has really looked sharp. Really looked sharp.
yeah.
Cody Gakpo has looked better in recent games. Certainly, with Jota being back helps. Firmino being back helps. Salah has looked better, but is it enough for Manchester United in form, who are hardly conceding goals even? That is my
Mm.
biggest question. So I can see this one, despite the busy period of Manchester United, I still see them edging out and breaking the record, like I said. But it will be like again Liverpool. Where are the goals coming from? I really doubt that. So I'm giving Manchester United a 1-0 victory here.
1-0 victory. Well, that was the last score between the sides
Correct.
in 2017, 2018. I've got to say this now. I think the midfield battle, well, there's not really a midfield because I still say it. We have the worst midfield in the Premier League by an absolute long way. Casemiro, Fred, Sabitzer. You could probably put McTominay in there. Obviously, Eriksen's obviously missing as well. But Rashford, is he 100% fit? Now, if I was Eric Ten Hag, I would not risk Rashford tomorrow in the FA Cup against West Ham. I think you
Yeah,
want him
agreed.
fit for the Liverpool game. I think you want him fit for the Liverpool game. Him against Trent is giving me absolute nightmares, and it's giving me butterflies in my stomach. Of course, on the other side, obviously, you got Anthony against obviously Robertson as well. But this game, we always get up for it. Now, if you cannot get up for a Liverpool-Manchester United game, you shouldn't be at either club, in my honest opinion. This is going to be a very, very good game. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a big, big test again. And it's going to be a big test for Manchester United because they have been on very, very good form recently. But when it comes to Anfield, they always seem to there's just something about Anfield. I don't know what it is, but they always seem to struggle against Anfield. And it's been ever since the Fergie days. They always
Yeah.
seem to struggle at Anfield. I don't know if this is going to be. I don't know if this is going to come back and haunt me with this one, but something in the back of my mind is saying we win this game, and I don't know what is saying to me that we win this game. But I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool. There's just something about this fixture. I
I
just
know
don't
what
know
it
what
is,
it
Doug.
is.
I know what it is. Basically, you're saying that you're for sure this time putting Manchester United out of the title race. Basically.
Well, you could say that, but I just think it's just this kind of game where I think everyone will be up for it. There is potential talk that Thiago could be back. There could be potential that Luis Diaz could be potentially back as well. If those two players are back, then it gives everybody a lift as well. But this is more hope than expectation. But I'm going 2-1 to Liverpool. So we
Wow.
will see. But it is not going to be an easy game whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I can hear that definitely. There's a possibility for sure, but still, as in, I've been waiting for Manchester United to drop. That they're
Mm.
not. They're not.
Yeah, but actually, there was a wee comment. Actually, I don't know if Hella's said it or not. Hella did say something actually. Is war, however, as good as we been, my worry we're getting heavy-legged.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. I think
As
Manchester
India's
United
playing.
have been looking a little bit tired recently. And maybe the cup game tomorrow could be an interesting game, to say the very, very least. But let's see what some of you are saying. 2-2 for that game. Did not know Liverpool United was this weekend. Yes, it is. 6th of March it is. Big up Mr. B for life. Hope you're good, mate. Dyche got this Everton team working hard. They got Arsenal tomorrow, so it should be interesting. Oh, excuse me. Can't wait to watch this game. Liverpool 1, Manchester United 2, says Ryan. Hello, Hella. I want Liverpool to win this game, so I'll go for a 2-1 win to Liverpool, says Anthony. United are in some form recently. Liverpool have been opposite. I feel United will win, but Liverpool have a chance only because of Anfield. Yes, absolutely. Hello, Mr. B. Ankit, join me in future. I got StreamYard back. Bro, I don't see Liverpool winning midfield, but no, definitely not. I think it's going to be a case of set pieces, corner kicks, and I think individual quality. I think that's what's going to happen, because the midfield battle between the two, well, what are we going to have? Bajcetic, Fabinho, and probably Henderson against Casemiro and Fred. Yeah, it's nothing. Not one game I'm looking forward to. Now, I feel you guys winning, man. Liverpool every time gets this one, especially when they're in bad form. Maybe we can win, but 1-0 if that happens. Interesting indeed. Hell, that's the only thing I know in Norwegian. 2-0 United, but won't be shocked if Liverpool win. Liverpool 1, Manchester United 1. No logic, just my gut. Trust you, Anthony. Trust you. Why should Potter get sacked? They're not even in the relegation zone. Cyber Leader, I know what you're saying, but it's 2 wins. No, 1 win in 16, 1 win in 17. That is not good enough. Not good enough. To say the very
least. I think he has a couple of wins though, but anyway, I think the point is it's just the atmosphere, man. As in, it's going from bad to worse.
Yeah, Liverpool 2, Manchester United 2, says Mr. B for life. Rashford though left against Trent. Yeah, that worries me. That definitely worries me. I hope he plays Garnacho tomorrow. Marcus needs a rest now. Absolutely agree with you. Brighton are playing a full squad against Stoke, except stealing for Sanchez. Ooh, interesting. Interesting to say the very, very least. Liverpool always show up in this one. Yeah, definitely. 3-0 Manchester United. I hate to say as a Liverpool fan, Rashford has a field day. Well, we will see. Real scores 5 though at Anfield. Yeah, I know he does. I know. Well, we're not in the title race, but if we do a league double over Liverpool, then my God, best season. Yeah, you haven't done the double over us actually for a long, long time, so we'll need to wait and see with that,
right? Because Anfield, they've not done well, right? So.
Yeah, Liverpool dropping points is more helpful for us, says Gauruf. Hell, I do remember something else. I did go to a foreign language course a few years ago. Is Hovorden Hardu Dittis? How are you? Is that right? Wow, we're getting some Norwegian in the chat as well. And Mr. B, you have just came in for the right time, because the last game is a Monday night game and it is a London derby, and it is the Bees against the Cottagers, Brentford against Fulham. Now, when we expect Brentford to almost sort of lose, they don't. They're on an 11-match unbeaten streak at this moment in time. How impressed have you been with Brentford?
You know what? It's no coincidence that we are linked to the manager already. Let's put it that way. The manager, the striker, and again, let's be honest. If Ivan Toney hadn't got into those things that he got into about, the betting and stuff like that, pretty sure he would have been the target for many clubs, and I mean many clubs, right? Because the guy is like that single kind of thing that he wants, with Mbeumo being around him. I think that really almost scares the defenders. When was the last time he spoke about a duo kind of doing that to defenders, and being Brentford? You don't say that, right? But that's what they've done. But again, you have to give it to Thomas Frank. And Thomas Frank, he's got a mentality going. It's not easy for someone. Is it second season or is it third season for Brentford? Basically speaking,
second.
After exactly. So for the second season, he's doing brilliantly. Usually you can see that in the first season, but second season you kind of just about taper off. But no, he's going the other way around. So that shows the quality and the squad usage that he has. Again, he has a proper structure. They kind of remind me Brentford in a strange way when Sunderland used to be actually good. I don't know if you remember. Was it Phillips, when Phillips have got the golden boot? I think so Brentford remind me. I don't know how many of you all remember that. I'm talking about early 2000s people here. I must be thinking.
Yeah, old, but that was the 1999-2000 season. Yes, so, I I was 10. No, hang on. I was 8 years old when that season happened. So,
Even me. Let's just put me that way. But to be honest, I can see them doing well again. Again, Fulham, as impressive as Brentford. Marco Silva, terrific. He's a very
yeah,
good manager. He's a very good manager. In fact, Fulham on paper have better players, I would say, than Brentford. But I can see this one being a draw. Very difficult to call. I'll call it a draw. I can expect maybe a high scoring draw, 2-2 for this one, and then probably it will
two
help
all.
both our clubs, right? Because both dropping
Mm.
points.
I'm looking forward to this game, actually. Yeah, Monday Night Football is going to be very, very interesting, this one. However, someone has actually said in the chat, I think it's Travis, there's no Joe Paulinho. I think he is suspended for this one. I'm going to go 2-1
Oh,
Brentford. I think Brentford just sneak this one. I think they will sneak this. I'm going to go 2-1 to the Bees as well. Hell,
yeah.
saying very good, Mr. B. Brentford 2, Fulham 1, says Shane. Brentford 2, Fulham 1, says Mr. B for life. This is going to be the interesting one, 1-1. No Polinia, Brentford 2-1. Oh my goodness me. Look who has appeared in the chat, Mr. Dominic Rich, sir. Hello, sir. How are you, my friend? Hope you are well. Obviously, good luck in the FA Cup this evening against Bristol City. We shall see what happens in that one. Brentford 2, Fulham 0, says Huddersfield Town Fan TV. Ryan, Douglas, can anyone come on these? Yes, absolutely. Anthony, I would love to have you, mate. Absolutely would love to have you. Just send me, obviously, a DM on Twitter, and I can definitely get you on. Absolutely. Absolutely. Look forward to that as well. Cheers, Hella. Norwegian is a very tough language to learn. An narrow win for Brentford. Fulham are playing great football this season. 2-1. I know Mr. B. I worked as a Norwegian teacher for a while, and I realised that then. Big up Dominic Rich, absolutely. Brentford 2, Fulham 2. Why Chelsea have identified Thomas Frank in the list for next manager? Yeah, look, Thomas Frank
because
has
we are
been a very
clueless.
good. Yeah,
I'm laughing in my own club. That's the scene, right? We are in. We don't know what we're doing, and that's a fact. But again, eventually it'll come good. I still believe it in Gaurav, so don't worry. Have faith.
have faith. Absolutely, have faith. Have faith indeed. It's going to be very, very intriguing to say the very, very least. I am actually just checking this poll. With what's happened in this poll, so I will check that as well. 2-2 says Gaurav Bordia, and Dominic says big up Ankit as well. Yes, absolutely. I can come on as well. Yeah, again, send me a DM. Send me a DM, absolutely. And Mike Green, good evening. Douglas and Ankit, rest in peace. Yes, rest in peace, Stephen Featley. Absolutely. A wonderful man, and did a lot for charity. Did a lot for charity. He will be sadly missed. So the poll that has gone on, I obviously asked before, obviously, the start of the show, will this be Graham Potter's final match in charge of Chelsea this week? 39% of you say yes, 35% say no, and 27% he will get the Dortmund game. So we'll end it there. That's actually quite close. That's a very close poll, that one.
Yeah, I still have a feeling. Yeah, it might be the Dortmund game, but yeah, for me, he's there or he isn't there doesn't make a difference for me and I would like him to prove me wrong, and I want my manager to be successful, a long term strategy, but I ain't seeing it coming.
Yeah, well, maybe we shall see. But Ankit, thank you very much for coming on this evening. I really do appreciate you coming on, and tell the people where they can find you as well.
Oh yeah! First of all, thanks again for everyone watching, and I hope you support Doug as much as you support me or anyone in the community. Generally speaking, because Doug, as in we've been on quizzes together, I always say this. Doug is one that I know that I always have that close one from and he knows the stuff, right? Basically speaking. So definitely anyone coming from my channels to Doug's channel, hopefully everyone is subscribed to the channel, like the stream, certainly back us because it's a community we're building together with you all as well. And for me, you can find me. I think here you can see Almighty Blues. So just give a search for Almighty Blues. You can find, and I have to give Dominic a shout out here because Almighty Blues, the name was suggested by Dominic. I haven't said that live ever, but I think probably I'm saying that Dominic give it away. But big up to Dominic for that. But yeah, Almighty Blues is where you find all content. Yes, I am a Chelsea fan. I also have a soft corner for Milan, as you can see in my background. But I
Mm-hmm.
try and cover content end to end for what the top five leagues, the Champions League, the World Cup, and similar to what Doug tries. We try that for sure. And again, watching so much football, I call it a fan channel for all to see, and for that reason alone. So definitely everyone is welcome. I do mix a little bit of Hindi and English at times because of the audience that I have, but again, would love to get anyone who wants to be a panel as well, just like Doug knows, and many and Dominic and other people on chat. And yeah, for some of you who might be interested in more neutral watch alongs and maybe even cricket, then you can find that content and a little bit more on Almighty Sports Plus, which is the second channel that I've also
Yeah.
had over the past few months. So yeah, great to have myself here again. Thanks to Doug, but everyone, big up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a pleasure, and by the way, guys, the Ankit's channels are both in the description. So obviously, go and check out Almighty Blues, and also go and check out Almighty Sports as well. Let me just say the last comments before we do head off. Great stream, really enjoyed this as always. Thank you very much, Ryan. I see no point in sacking the manager now, an interim for a couple of months. Yeah, is strange. Enjoy, guys. Thank you. Take care. We Talk Football. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Love your production shows, Douglas. Thank you, and thank you, Ankit. Good stuff, guys. Thank you for the stream. That's a new one. Stream. You're welcome. You're welcome. Benitez to save our ship again. I actually mentioned, because obviously we're in a sort of a group chat, aren't we, in Instagram? I did actually say, why not get Gus Hiddink for the for the third time?
Again, against him, not great, but Benitez, man, we despise him with all due respect. Let's be honest about it. But yeah, not going there.
Absolutely. Dominic, keep up the good work, guys. Yes, Dominic, I will be in touch with you. I do actually need to get you on a stream at some point, and obviously vice versa, because it has been a while, mate. It has been ages. So I'll definitely get you on at some point as well. And Gareth says, great stream. Thank you. See you soon. Yes, absolutely. We will see you soon. Yes, FA Cup action tonight. Enjoy the FA Cup. But we will see what happens in the Premier League this weekend. Big thank you to Ankit. Go and check his channels out as well. And as I say, before we obviously end the video, do hit the like button. Do hit the subscribe button as you go on the way out. And yeah, we shall see what happens. Will Chelsea get that big win? Will Liverpool end Manchester United's unbeaten run? We'll wait and see. But anyway, from myself and Ankit, it is goodbye for now, and we'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye for now.